Alright guys, we're going to do a backtesting video tonight. It's a rainy night here, so we're going to use this random number website here to do that, to pick a date. I've done my 7 hours cycling today. We're back, we've got a joint, we've got a beer. We're going to take this opportunity to do a little backtesting. It's important to do this once in a while because it gives you your keeps you in sync, and you might learn a thing or two, and it builds up the confidence for the week, the week ahead. So let's pick a random number here. We'll start with 12 for the amount of days in months in the year. So it gives us the 9th, so we have to use the 9th month, so Virgo, September. Now 30 days of September, April, June, November, so 30 for this. So we got September the 17th. Okay, perfect. So how we'll do this, we'll go back on the LFX to September the 17th, sorry. And then we have to take a trade, basically. And we have to put the target in, so 17th September. Alright. That is... well, it falls on the weekend, so we'll do it, I guess, for the 19th, if that's okay. We go back, and we'll just put that line on all of them, and then what I'll do to save time, the video, is I'll pause it so I can put all the areas in. Or the thing is, you're going to speculate on if I'm cheating or not. Is that what will happen? Maybe there'll be some people doing such a thing. Okay, fine. So let's not do it that way then. Okay, so 22nd, 19 is there. We're going to put it on here. What? Okay, 19th. Alright, like this. Perfect. So fine, I won't pause it then. You're going to have to just wait. Won't take long. December, November. Okay. Obviously, we're not trading the yens. For any new people here. We have a line there from another date. So we'll use that. And also the good thing about doing this on the weekend is the charts are not the currency charts, not the crypto. The currency charts are not moving, so you don't have to keep pressing that, worrying about that backspace button moving the chart back. That seems to always be what happens to me on MT4, but I like MT4. I will stay with MT4 as we are not dependent dependent on a outsource on a cloud. We have the data here right on our own screen, our computer, so it's better this way. So I will never move from MT4 no matter what, because they can just stop it, right? You can't practice on the weekends. That's what used to happen with me on FXCM. I'd try to practice, but because it was their platform, I didn't. They wouldn't allow me the data if they were doing maintenance for the website, for the platform, and that would happen very frequently. So there'd be so many weekends I'd end up just using MT4 to practice. So that was the end of FXCM from that point for me. Once I realised this, that was a long time ago now. Maybe we're just stuck in. Maybe I'm just stuck in my ways, old-fashioned ways. I don't know. I was just in the store buying some beer, and the lady said to me, "Well, why don't you use the tap on your card?" And I said, "Well, I don't want the tap to work. It hasn't worked since I got it." And she didn't even respond to me. And I said, "I don't want it to work because if I drop the card, then I'm going to have a problem. Someone's just going to go around using my card. So why would I even be remotely enthusiastic about that particular service that the bank is providing us to pay with? I just wouldn't use it even if I had it on my card. So I wouldn't want to promote it. But anyway, that's just me. If you don't have anything in Aquarius or the House of Aquarius, then you'll be in the same boat. So let's go all the way here. And that is me. I have no raft in Aquarius, no planets, so therefore I don't really have an interest in anything after the age of Pisces. All this is the age of Pisces, the PC and the way MT4 is. But the apps on the cell phone and this new tapless, contactless, stale, bland stuff, this is all Aquarian stuff. And I don't really I'm not particularly fond of it, or not the way that it's happening. But other people will be, and that's okay. They can be fond of it, and they can enjoy it. But for me, no, thank you. Okay. Right, so we got the areas here. Uh, let's pull the charts back to the yen perspective to start, as always. We'll take a look at this, and we will simply find a trade. And now remember, if the LFX goes up, this is what happens. If the LFX goes down, this is what happens. I know we can see what's happening now, but it doesn't matter. We don't know we can't see the other chart from here, so we're simply going to call this out like robots for the purpose of the video. So we know here, given the fact that the 4,000 is up, that this is clearly an up move, collective up move. And we're not going to speculate on if it's coming down. We don't care, okay? Collective up move, and just verify that. We'll look across the board. Dollar agrees, everything's agreeing. You've got to squeeze hard on the dollar here, so that shows that's an indication of how strong currently the dollar right there is relative to the other ones. Now let's move around, pull the other guys up. So we already have we're already building a case here, because we've recognized that the dollar is the strongest one out of relative to the CAD and the LFX. Sorry. So in here we've got euro is up. Pound looks like we have to squeeze perhaps, or oh no, pound is there. So far pound is the weakest, and Swiss there is, we have to squeeze. So Swiss is very strong, pound is very weak, and just on looking at the moving average, right, the balance line, euro we didn't have to squeeze. Okay, so it's Swiss, dollar, okay, the strong ones, right? Agreed, because we had to squeeze here. Euro not so much. Sorry, CAD not so much. Now CAD relative to euro, let's just take a look at that. Okay, euro looks like that. Let's bring the CAD over just for the purpose of this video. You know, it's, you know, they're pretty even bid. It's about the dollar and the Swiss. Those are the two strongest. You wouldn't want to be doing a trade with the dollar and the Swiss, certainly not. Let's move the Aussie and the yen over. All right. Let's New Zealand's on the top here. Same area of time, same fractal. Make this out. Here we go. All right. We haven't had to squeeze this. You know, price is close, so New Zealand and pound fairly close. Right, so we've got the plan basically. The at this exact area of time, to me so far, New Zealand will be the weakest. Let's just check on pound. Okay, pound right there, right close to the moving average, very weak. Okay, so you wouldn't want to do a New Zealand pound New Zealand. You'd want to stay away from that. Right. So now let's figure out what the best trade would be. Given the fact that we know that Swiss is the strongest currency so far, as we've had to squeeze it this far. Actually, we can even cheat here. Look, let's make it even easier. Let's forget about squeezing it. We'll just simply get the cursor crosshair and we'll go up to where current value of price is. From there, we've got ourselves, we'll just go right in the middle here, 7,600 points. Okay, now let's move the dollar over. So we need to know now, and that is telling us it's 7,500 points. So those guys are super close. Doesn't matter. So we'll take a Swiss or a dollar. Makes no difference. And we'll do a pound or a New Zealand. So Swiss, New Zealand dollar, okay, and then we'll do a pound Swiss, I guess. We'll put both of those charts up. So given the fact that the LFX is up, the dollar is the strongest one. If the LFX continues higher, the dollar is already high, and so is the Swiss. They're going to have less room to go up, while the New Zealand and the pound, already being weak, are going to have more room to go up. So with that in mind, we would want to be long pound Swiss from this area of time, and if it drops, that will be our target. We don't care. We simply start buying it, and we'll try to make, yeah, that'll be our target after that. But what should happen is price should start we should start seeing a reaction right away. We'd want to be buying discount on pound Swiss, uh, spikes lower until eventually some sort of decent move up. Now, if the LFX goes down, it's the exact same deal. Pound and New Zealand have already moved down the most. Swiss and dollar will have the furthest to come down. So we're going to go with a long pound Swiss from this area, and we're going to go with a New Zealand dollar long. So I'll pull those charts up. File, new chart. Pound Swiss, pound Swiss, New Zealand dollar. Oops. Chart's too big, so all right, let's go back to that date now. September 19. Oops. Okay. That becomes our target. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Extend this. Right, perfect. So that's what we got, guys. That's the level. This is the area where we've witnessed this, and we know we want to be buying after that. So, and then our target will be here. So that's the day we want to be buying after that, and that's our target. Look how price reacts at that target right there. Again here. Again here. Again here. Again here. Again here. Just constantly working it, and now it's back there. So that proves to you that every single price must be has buyers and sellers. So there's offside buyers here and there's offside sellers here. Price needs to come back. Everybody's getting screwed here. These guys were able to hold the sell a little longer, but ultimately, sorry, margin call. Now let's see what happens. Right, so it's still yet to come back there. Oops, excuse me. Now, how could we, from this point, have fine-tuned our entry so we didn't have to sit through this drawdown? All right, that is the question. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to bring the Swiss index with the same area of time, and I'm going to bring in the New Zealand index and the dollar index and the pound index with the same area of time, and that will give us our fine-tune entry. So give me a minute here, guys. So really what we want to know here is why the pound moved so much faster than the New Zealand. They let the New Zealand run for weeks, while the pound, they were happy to make it go faster. So there's going to be a reason for this when we build a case looking at the pound, Swiss, New Zealand, and dollar index individually. 1 second. All right, so here we are. We're on the Swiss now. Same area of time here. Now, if the Swiss index was to continue to go up at this time, we see that the Swiss yen, we have to squeeze down here. It's very strong. We see that the CAD, we can see the moving average here, so it's not the weakest one. We have to come over here. When we look at the dollar, as expected, it's jammed against the moving averages because it's the US dollar and the Swiss are both extremely strong, so they're even at that time. That's why we're seeing that. While the pound, we don't have to squeeze to see the moving average. So against the Swiss, the pound is not the most extreme at this point. So right there, that would be our, okay, we're going to have to wait a little bit because it's not the most extreme. We need the most extreme. There is a reason for this, and I'll get to that in other videos later on. So what we would have done there is by seeing the pound relative to the Swiss and everything else, it not being as weak as here, the New Zealand. Look how hard and far we have to move this. And then on the Aussie, same thing here. So our eyes would now move to New Zealand only on this, because New Zealand's clearly the weakest one. So that builds our case from the other perspective. Now let's move to the New Zealand index and we'll dig a little deeper here. 1 second. All right, so New Zealand here, what are we seeing? New Zealand is down a long way against the CAD. A long way against the dollar, but not as much as CAD. New Zealand yen is, in the middle. Oh, okay. And then New Zealand Swiss is a long way, so we know about that. Um, so how do we get that entry down there instead of getting it here? How do we know exactly when the green light is so we can hit it right there instead of buying it there, 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 and there? Because sometimes, if we this could be 5, 6, 700 points in stop, um, but how do we know the exact low? Let's try to do that here in this video. I do know the way to do it, but we're not seeing it yet. And when we do, I will call it out. Because what we're looking for is the usual story. We're looking for a move that's moved too far relative to the other ones during the same period of time, so a fake move. Once that happens, then we're ready. Usually, a localized fake move. Um, so Aussie's up this much. Euro New Zealand is up this much. And pound is basically here. So that's telling us the same thing, because we had the question from the very beginning was, what was it going to be? Is it pound or is it New Zealand against the dollar or the Swiss? So, it's all telling us the same thing here. That's what these are doing. It's just relative strength. So if the New Zealand index here was to continue higher, well, during this time it's going down. The New Zealand dollar has already gone down a considerable amount. The New Zealand CAD has already gone down a considerable amount. So you wouldn't want to be selling these. But if the New Zealand index went up, well, they've already gone down, so therefore there'll be more room up. Yeah, it's still all in line. We're just trying to get this low here. What we could do is we can probably scale this into like a 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, and try to find that entry. But I think there's an easier way to do this. And if we look at the indexes collectively, we'll take the two, if they're not at the most extreme points, because it's like everyone's like, buy the dip, right? Oh, well, you just got that right because you just bought the dip. Well, hang on, is the dip there? Is that the dip? Well, which one is the dip? Is it going to be this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Or is it that one? What about that one? So let's look at the indexes collectively and we'll try to find, because this what this to me is, it's looking like it's on a 4-hour chart. It's too stretched out. So let's look at the indexes on their own. 1 second. All right, guys, I found it. We see it here. We wouldn't want to be selling first off right here. We want to be selling at the extremes. So it's better to wait for here or here. Firstly, in the Swiss, it would have been better to wait for here or here. Relative, you know. We just wouldn't have done it here. In the case of buying the New Zealand, trying to get a better entry, let's do that. And I have something else I want to show you guys, rather concerning, on oil, which I've just discovered since pausing the video, but I'll show you in a second. Hang on a minute, let's just clear this out of our minds so we can get on. So this area would have been not bad, but we never saw it on that time, so we can't discuss that. And also it has to be relative at the same time to the other ones, so we don't even know. We'd be totally speculating, but that's what you want it to look like, really. You want the extremes. This one. All right. So again, you know, it's like none of this was good. May have been good relative to the 4,000, but not really. We'd want this one here, or this one here is better. But what we like to do is, you know what we do once we get close to it, is we start drawing the fake moves, and we'll always see that, and we can do that now actually in this video. We know that during this area of time is our area where we want to be looking to buy that New Zealand. So if we go back to the New Zealand, we'll see there would have been some like this. There would have been, you know, 3 currencies holding while one of them did its fake move, and that's the place you want to be entering. So you've got to be focused and watching all of them. But on this perspective, we always have enough time to see these moves. But here's what I wanted to quickly show you on crude oil. And we'll pull up the snipping tool for this. Second. Here it is. Oh, here it is. Got it. Sorry. This here is a problem, guys. Why has my broker priced this? It could have been a gap, an Asian gap, or a weekend gap, a quick pricing on the spread. But the fact is, MT4 has recorded that price on there. So even if another broker
hasn't. Well, mine has. So if you're, it's time to start thinking about, you know, an exit strategy, um, really, or another plan, such as growing your own tobacco, beer, weed, and everything, and just giving up the V8 pickups. Like, I mean, that's not going to work anymore. You guys have done a good job holding on. $5 a gallon. I mean, how far are you gonna go? Are you gonna allow them to push you? Because we're now at $40 to go 100 kilometers, 100 miles in those things. So why would you even want to continue? Um, like some guys can raise the prices to the customers, and the customers just pay for the call out fee or whatnot. But half of these guys are using these things just to go around to the grocery store still, and they're not using them in that manner. And if they were, then really, how much are you going to charge your customers to come out for a call out? Like $800 for two miles down the road or something, because that is what it will cost you. So they're not going to keep going with that. It will be the end, really. Electric planes, electric cars, and everything, because that's what they want to do. So anyway, that's what's happening. Just something happening that I've noticed. So start planning accordingly. Now we so we've agreed here that we would have waited a bit. And again, the Swiss would have done the same thing. There would have been higher and a fake move and all that. So that's once we see this, that's when our eyes start wanting to make a plan. We don't just jump in right away. And the euro and the pound can't exactly do that. All right. Again, the pound, we would have looking to buy it here, not here. And again, once you see that, it's like, well, hang on, what's my profit? What's the point in buying it? 'Cause the spread is from wherever it goes to that, and that is your profit margin, not there to there. So the more it goes down, the better. You should be enjoying it. But how do we really get in here? And that's what we're trying to do right now. Um, Sorry, I went too far there. Yeah. So that's good. Let's look now quickly at the New Zealand index and try to find the fake move after that time. It's going to be on the New Zealand, I think. But one of them is going to reveal it. It's either the dollar. Tell you what I'll do. I'll pause the video, I'll find it, and then I'll come back. I'll look in the dollar, I'll look in the New Zealand, I'll look in the Swiss, and then I'll look in the pound. 1 second. Alright guys, so you remember how we do this now. It's very simple. We start with the index, and we'll get our drawing tool. What we want to see is we want to see New Zealand moving up or sideways while one of them is moving down, and that is our cue. So far from the area that we were looking at, price is always down, 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 always down. Now remember, we can halve it as we can divide the fractals. I did a video on that before the other day. So let's say we're in this area here at that point. It doesn't matter where we are. If we're here, we can do the same thing from there. If we're here, we can do the same thing from there. We just draw it from a level of, from an area of time. It doesn't matter. So we'll halve this and we'll go along sideways to here. And we'll simply draw this to this area. It doesn't matter. We can go down to here, we can go to here, we can go to here, we can go to here. Just for the purpose of this video, we're looking for New Zealand to be showing us strength, so slash sideways. So, and then we want to see another currency going further. So, for example, we'd want to see New Zealand US dollar during this time dropping. And then we'll ask ourselves, well, hang on, how is that possible? If the New Zealand is sideways, then how can the New Zealand dollar be dropping? This is telling us we're coming to the end of that move locally. So let's grab this same section on something else. It doesn't matter. Go to CAD. Right. Same thing again. Right. Down to here. So we would have looked at it right at this time. Is that the right area? Oh, it's here. And we would have seen this being kind of sideways. Down, you know, it's still down. Right. And then we go divide that. Now we're seeing that same area of time. We're now seeing sideways price action. So it changes to orange. And that's our cue of a little bit of strength relative at that time. And again, we'd be expecting dollar to be down during this time, given the fact that the New Zealand index is down. So it's red, that's good. I think you guys see where I'm going with this. I really want to make it perfect. Now the same thing here, we would have been looking at it to here, and we're seeing sideways. Okay, great. So anything below here, given the fact that this collectively agreed is sideways during this time, but not forgetting this underlying larger down model is still in play. But we have a case for a price to come back up, given the whole purpose of this video from the start. We then can kind of be a bit more relaxed about that longer term underlying downtrend, and essentially call BS on this. And that's really a wrap on how that would have worked. And it's not like it's picking and choosing either, because we just did that, right? So oh, sorry, the screen just went all funny. But yeah, I think that's about it for the video here. Maybe let's just finish this Swiss up. I mean, we might as well. Here it is. Look. Okay, so New Zealand index down. So yeah, we'd be expecting it to be down. Great. But it's to here, I think. And hang on, are we at the right time? Let's just bring another one over so we can copy it. Sorry, my computer froze up and did reset one of the screens middle of the recording, so I hope that didn't mess up too much. Here. So we're going to here. Looks about the same area of time. Not doing exact, I can't be bothered, but you do it exact and you've got it even more information. Now same thing here. We would have been sat here watching from here. We would look back halfway and we see here, okay, great. So price is agreeing, it's balanced. So anything below here we can consider BS also. Let's pull this one over here. You know, if yeah, on the Swiss, because we're happy to take the Swiss, aren't we? So this is the trade right here. During this time, we would have had this entire area boxed as green. We would have only been looking to be a buyer, and then we had our target there and we got rewarded. So that's it, really. You can see the deal. I mean, this one from here to here, this one's a little bit further. This one's a bit further. Did any of them make an excess low? Let's just see. Yeah, the New Zealand CAD made the excess low right there. Right there. So here is really your last chance. Just double check on the pound. I think the pound had already, yeah, as usual, pounds just, that's a crazy move. But let's pull up that New Zealand CAD, because we know that was the so far most extreme, and see how out of whack it was relative to pound. Yeah, see, your pound's kind of telling you here as well, given its strength against the New Zealand, that this is you know, the end of this existing downtrend. And that's kind of how you read it, folks. That's a wrap. I really hope this video helps. Peace and love as always. Cheers.